today we're going to talk about a little bit about rolls, falls, and getting back up after you've taken a fall. So the idea is to try to control your body as you fall. If you trip and fall, things happen quickly and you kind of lose control, but the more you're able to control the fall, the better off you're going to be, the safer you'll be. So there's no perfect answer, but the idea would be to practice so that your body can become reflexive, so that when you fall down you do certain motions and certain movements. That way you won't just go crazy when you fall down. So one of the things when you try to do is keep your chin tucked so that you don't bash your head. So if you're falling backwards, you don't want the whiplash motion, so you try to keep your head, your chin down, so that you don't smack your head and get a concussion or a whiplash. Okay, so you can try to roll out of a trip. If you were to trip on something and you start going forward, you could roll out of it, but if you're older or you're not used to rolling, that could be difficult. On the other hand, if you trip and fall down a hill, you may end up going head over heels anyway. So let me just speak briefly on how to roll forward if you end up falling down a hill. Okay, so as you fall, whichever shoulder is going to go forward, and you want to try to turn one way or another, then you would take that shoulder and that arm, put the arm out ahead of you in an arc, kind of a half a circle, and the shoulder protects your head and the arm allows you to roll so that you don't land directly on your head. If you fall this way with no hands, you'll land directly on your head. So you want to avoid landing on your head, so you would put your arm down, and let's say you trip and fall, you would try to roll out of that. Now that's going to be difficult for some people, but again, if you're falling down a hill, you're going to end up rolling anyway. So the idea would try to think in circles. Think like a circle, and you would roll this way or roll that way. So that may be kind of a last resort. The other way is if you're on a flat piece of ground and maybe you trip on a piece of cement that's sticking up or a root or something like that, and you just fall forward. Most people stick their arms out if they can. Some people, it happens too quickly and they just land on their face. So two things. One, you could put your arms out, but you're at risk of injuring your wrists and your elbows. So what you would try to do is land on your forearms, which is a little bit scary because it's more of a distance to fall. Here it's less of you're going to stop yourself sooner. But if you're falling quickly, you want to turn your head to the side so you don't hit straight on your face, straight on your nose. So you would fall down and land on your forearms, have your forearms break the fall, and that would hopefully alleviate some of this falling straight onto your face. So the other thing to think about is if you trip, to try to get to the ground as quickly as possible. So let's say you trip, go ahead and just buckle the knees and then fall onto your forearms. Turn your head. A lot of people are going to turn their head anyway, just out of reflex. You don't want to smash your face, so you turn your head. Okay? But usually people will go like this. So, you can do that, and it might slow you down a little bit, but you could also injure your wrist. So just practice by standing on your knees, going like this, and just falling, looking to the side. Up and fall. And you keep doing that until your body just reflexively, when you fall, you're like, ah! And then you just throw your forearms out, turn your head to the side. Okay? Now if you trip and fall, sometimes it's quickly. If you don't bend your knees, you're going to go straight down without bending. It's a lot further distance to go down. And so it's a little bit harder and a little bit scarier to go all the way down. But with a little practice, you can still do it, but it's easier if you just let your knees buckle and fall down. Okay, that's just one idea. If you trip going forward, the other thing to do, one of the reasons why you fall down is because when you're walking, your center of gravity is right here. If you trip and you end up pitching yourself forward, your center of gravity is way out here, and when it gets out too far, then you have to fall down. So sometimes when people trip, then they'll take this stagger step, and then they fall down. So the only way to get ahead of that is to either bring the other leg forward to try to stop your forward momentum, and that becomes now your center of gravity, or take a big step with the other foot. Again, a little bit hard because when you trip it usually happens pretty quickly, but what you want to try to do is get underneath your center of gravity. Okay, so those are just a couple of things to kind of think about that you can try to practice. You know, try to maybe kick into something and go up, up, up. You want to try to get underneath your center of gravity, which has gone out ahead of you. Okay, if not, buckle and try to land on your forearms. If you can roll over. Some people just turn and roll sideways. Maybe that's an easier way to go as well. If you're falling, fall and just go sideways. Okay, that's another way to do it. Because you don't want to land on your face, obviously. Okay. So the other one is if you slip and fall backwards. One is if, like, for example, if you're on ice, you go this way. That's a tough one to do because your feet are gone and you just land sometimes straight on your back, sometimes straight on your butt. If you lose one foot and you still are on one foot, you can try, difficult, but you can try to set yourself down with the other foot, with the other leg. But you definitely need some leg strength to try to do that. The other thing is if you're falling down, if you're going backwards and you're falling down, try to roll, tuck your chin, and the way to stop your backward momentum is to slap the ground. So you can practice rolling by grabbing your knees and just rolling back and forth. Once you have that, it's a nice little massage for your back as well. But the other thing is when you go back, slap the ground. Come up, slap the ground. And that will slow you down. Okay? So if someone pushes you, or if you're walking backward, you trip on a root, or you trip on the sidewalk, again, get down to the ground as quickly as possible, because if your legs are straight, you know, that's 5 feet from your head to the ground. That would be quite a concussion. So if you're falling backwards, sit. And then we'll come back up in a second. But if you're falling backward, let your legs buckle. Try to roll and slap. Okay? So let's say now you're on the ground. Boom, you've landed either on your back or on your stomach. From here, there's a couple ways to get up. You can turn sideways. Try to go maybe even onto your hands and knees. Once you're on your hands and knees, take one leg up. Take your hand, possibly both hands if you can maintain your balance, and push onto this leg as you use your leg muscles to push yourself up. You could do it without. This is an exercise that we do, up and down, up and down. Practice this every day, and this should be easy for you to get up. Okay? But the idea, some people have difficulty in certain areas. So if you're on your back, you can roll to your side. I like to be on one elbow, one foot on the floor, one foot bent. Push yourself up. Okay? From here, same idea. If you want to put your hand on your knee or put your hand on the floor, try to get this leg out here so that you're in this kneeling position again. And then you can come up, go down. Practice this at home, up and down, because this is where you're going to go. This is your point, your starting point. Okay? Some people, they don't know what to do with this arm. So you can take this arm, put it over your head so it's out of the way. It allows you to roll. roll over. Okay? You can go onto your stomach, and then from here it should be relatively easy for you to get into a hands and knees position. From hands and knees, take one foot up, one hand up. Now you're back to here. Some people can do it if they're here. They can just stand from here. They go up. Use both hands, both feet, all at the same time. Push. If you can take this hand over here, both hands on one knee. Up, down, up, down. So everybody's different. Some people have bad knees. That's kind of tough for some people. But the idea would be to roll over onto your side and get into a sitting position. Okay? If you're here, it's hard to get up. If you're here, just even if you have a kind of a bad knee or bad hip, you can use both of these hands to push yourself up enough to get that knee out from under you. Then you put your hands on your knee, push up, come down. Okay? So let's try one from hands and knees. You just landed flat. Always check your body, make sure nothing's broken. You can just roll over onto your stomach, push yourself up onto your hands and knees. Take one knee up, hands on your knees, and lift. Okay? Or roll over, bring one foot up, push yourself up. So one leg, one foot on the floor, one leg is bent underneath. From here, whether you do it this way or this way, maybe this way if this is a bad arm, you have both hands to push yourself just a little bit, just enough to get your hip out of the way. Or you can go like this, but you want to come up to this one knee position and then come up. Okay? So try those, roll back and forth, practice on your knees, falling forward. Practice one foot up, knees, hands and knees, one foot up, hands and knees, one foot up, hand. Okay? So try those. If you have any questions, shoot me an email and I'll try to answer any questions that you have. But practice, exercise. Make sure you want to try to keep your legs strong, keep your legs, since the knee joints are usually what's bad, you want to keep your calves strong, keep your thighs strong, above and below the joint, because you're going to need those in order to stand up and in order to set yourself down if you start to fall. When you fall, turn your head so you don't smash your nose. Okay? That might just come natural. And become just, this is the motion. Boom. Just like that. Okay? Practice that. And again, send me an email with any questions and see what we can do to help you out. All right? Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.